For years, the truth stayed hidden, the victims forgotten, the cases left cold, until science revealed what time could not. This is decades in the dark, where cold cases are brought back to light. It was early morning, April 18th, 2016, and a storm was rolling through Midlothian, Texas. The streets were slick with rain, lightning flashed in the distance, and most of the town was still asleep. But 45-year-old Missy Bevers was already up, moving through her morning routine. She was getting ready to teach her Camp Gladiator boot camp class inside the Creekside Church of Christ, where she held her sessions on rainy days. Missy was well liked in her community. A mother of 3, she was described by friends and students as bubbly, funny, and encouraging. Someone who could make even a grueling 5 a.m. workout feel fun. But her personal life wasn't as perfect as her smile suggested. She and her husband, Brandon Bevers, were going through marital struggles, and investigators would later uncover flirtatious LinkedIn messages between Missy and at least one man she barely knew. In one exchange, he wrote things like, "I could get used to you being around me all the time," and "You have a great smile." Missy's friend described the tone as creepy. Was it harmless, or a sign that someone had been watching her more closely than she realized? At around 3:30 a.m., Missy left her home, braving the heavy rain to set up for class. At 4:16 a.m., she parked at the church and walked inside. She didn't know that someone had already been there for nearly 30 minutes, waiting. At 3:50 a.m., church security cameras recorded a figure roaming the dark hallways. The person was dressed head to toe in SWAT tactical gear, a helmet, gloves, and a black vest labeled police. In one hand, they carried what looked like a hammer or pry bar. The intruder had forced their way inside by smashing a glass side door, then continued breaking interior windows and prying open doors. But investigators believe much of this was for show, an attempt to stage the scene to look like a burglary. The way the person moved didn't match a frantic thief. They were calm, methodical, almost casual, as if they'd been inside the building before and knew exactly where to go. The footage is disturbing not because of what the person does, but how they do it. The intruder doesn't rush. They move slowly, methodically, checking doors, opening closets, breaking glass, almost like they're rehearsing a burglary scene. Their movements are oddly casual, with short steps and knees turned slightly inward. Many people who analyze the footage believe the gait looks more feminine than masculine. The intruder was inside for at least 26 minutes, wandering calmly as if they knew they had time. Then Missy arrived. The cameras didn't capture the murder itself, but based on the timeline, investigators believe Missy was ambushed, almost immediately after entering. She was still wearing her workout gear and carrying equipment when she was struck. Missy suffered multiple blunt force trauma wounds to the head and chest, consistent with a hammer or similar heavy tool. The blows were so severe that first responders described significant head trauma and defensive wounds on her arms and hands, proof that she fought back. Blood was found pooled near her body, and drag marks on the floor suggest she may have been moved slightly during the attack. At 5 a.m., Missy's students arrived, expecting to see their smiling instructor, ready to push them through another tough workout. Instead, they walked into a nightmare. Missy was lying on the church floor, brutally beaten to death with what was likely the same hammer seen in the footage. From the beginning, police ruled out robbery. Nothing was stolen. The killer brought their own weapon and was dressed for anonymity. This wasn't random. Someone knew Missy would be there alone before sunrise. Missy's schedule was no secret. She posted her class times and locations publicly on Facebook to encourage attendance. Whoever did this likely used that information to plan the attack. Although police have cleared her family members, one name still comes up every time the case is discussed online. Randy Bevers, Missy's father-in-law. Internet sleuths immediately noticed that Randy's height, about 5.8, matched police estimates for the intruder. His unusual gait, caused by an old leg injury, looked eerily similar to the figure in the church footage. Side-by-side videos comparing his walk to the intruder's have been shared thousands of times online. Then there's the blood-stained shirt. Just days after the murder, Randy dropped a shirt off at a dry cleaner, saying it had been stained with animal blood. Police confirmed the blood was not human, but the timing raised eyebrows. Adding to speculation, Randy was scheduled to leave for California shortly after the murder. Some online theorists suggested this was a planned alibi, though police have never supported this idea. Investigators interviewed Randy extensively and cleared him, but for many, his resemblance to the figure in the footage keeps him in the unofficial suspect pool. Not everyone thinks the killer was connected to the family. Some believe this was a stalker who had been watching Missy for weeks, following her online posts until the perfect moment. Others suggest jealousy or revenge, someone Missy may have unknowingly upset, or even a rival connected to her strained marriage. The tactical gear and behavior inside the church have fueled endless speculation. Many believe the intruder was staging the scene to look like a burglary, intentionally breaking glass and opening doors to mislead investigators. Online sleuths have even analyzed the shoes visible in the footage. Some claim the shape looks more like a woman's athletic shoe than a man's boot, suggesting the killer may have disguised themselves to confuse investigators further. One theory gaining traction is that the killer might have attended Missy's classes before, blending in as just another fitness enthusiast to learn her habits. The SWAT-like gear concealed everything: face, hair, hands, and body shape. A silver Nissan Altima caught on nearby surveillance cameras that morning has never been linked to anyone. Detectives have hinted they may have forensic evidence, possibly touch DNA or hair, but nothing conclusive has been made public. With advancements in genetic genealogy, there's still hope this case will eventually be solved. Whoever calmly wandered those church halls in the middle of a storm is still free. Maybe they're watching the footage online, scrolling through theories, amused that no one has figured it out. But science doesn't forget, and DNA doesn't lie. One day the mask will come off. This is Decades in the Dark, where science brings the past to light. Subscribe for more stories where justice never expires.